There are many lies told by the trans lobby and their propaganda arm, their many media mouthpieces. One of those is that so-called trans children that do not receive medical intervention to change their genders are going to die. But we're also told that kids under 18 are not suffering permanent damage from irreversible surgeries like double mastectomies and what is called bottom surgery. These lies are being called out by detransitioners like Chloe Cole and Layla Jane.
I've had side effects from all three. I've had side effects from the puberty blockers, the cross-sex hormones, as well as the double mastectomy. I don't know whether I'll be able to conceive or if I'll be able to carry safely even. And even from the surgery, I've had some pretty bad side effects. Like I'll never be able to breastfeed, and I was informed of this, but I was allowed to make this decision when I didn't really understand just what that meant. I mean, I was 15 years old. I was just a kid.
What age were you when they put you on puberty blockers?
I was 12 years old.
12 years old, doctors gave you a drug called Lupron. This drug has been used to chemically castrate sex offenders, pedophiles in prison, but they prescribed it to you to stop your hormones. Is that correct?
Correct. At 12 years old.
Do you believe that you were given informed consent about the risks of puberty blockers?
I don't think so. I think, it was spoken of very lightly. I mean, they really did say it. It's just a pause. There were some slight concerns about my bone development, but, they just told me to take some vitamin D.
Both these girls and another called Luca Hain are being represented by the Centre for American Liberty as they sue the doctors, hospitals and gender clinics that pushed them into cross-sex hormones and surgery when they were minors. Eric Sell is from the Centre for American Liberty. He joins me now. Where does the fight for justice start with cases like this? What are your prospects for success, given that there was consent given for these surgeries by the parents, presumably, and the teenagers themselves?
Well, Rita, I think justice is holding these doctors accountable for feeding these young girls lies that these are reversible procedures or that this is the only way out from their depression, their anxiety, their sad feelings that they had. I mean, these are kids going through a very tough time, and they find online that this is the answer, that they are a different gender and that they need medical intervention to make them happy. And these doctors did not fully inform them about the consequences of their actions, and they should be held accountable for it. And we think that they did not obtain informed consent from these individuals. And we think that we have a very high likelihood of success in holding these doctors accountable under American law.
Well, can a 13 or a 15-year-old give informed consent for surgeries that have lifelong consequences? As we heard there from Chloe Cole, I spoke to her on this network. She'll never be able to breastfeed. She had her healthy breasts removed as part of this surgery. She also fears that she's been left sterile. But what are the parameters around that? At what age is it considered informed consent? Do you need to be 18 or have a thorough understanding of the lifelong consequences of these surgeries?
All of our clients needed their parents to consent for them. So their parents were involved with these conversations, but their parents were lied to. Our clients were lied to. These doctors told them that this was the only way out. You can either have a dead daughter or a live son. And it's just horrible. So this isn't a situation where the doctors sat our clients down and walked them through, here is how drastic these decisions are. Here's what the consequences are. Here's what you're giving up. They told them this is the only way out. That's not informed consent. That's manipulation. And now you have these young girls who are never going to be able to live a normal life as a female. They're going to have lifelong medical consequences because of these decisions they made when they were so young, because they thought that they were trapped and that this was the only solution for them. So these doctors manipulated them, and they did not obtain informed consent.
Is it mainly girls who are detransitioning? Do you know what the gender breakup is? And are you expecting more people to come to you to represent them now that they know there is a way to seek justice?
Sadly, it is primarily young girls, to the tune of, I've seen some statistics that say 90% of young kids who are transitioning are females. And I think a lot of it is because they, are going through puberty. They're seeing online, images that they don't ever think are going to be obtainable, and they feel trapped and they want to change who they are. They want to mask their feelings with a new identity. And sadly, it is often young girls, and in many cases, young girls with autism disorder and other mental health disorders that are, prompting them to seek these medical interventions. So what we're trying to do here with Chloe's case, with Layla's case, with Luca's case, is to create a blueprint for individuals who were manipulated by their doctors to hold their doctors accountable for what they did. So we are absolutely hoping that more detransitioners will reach out to us at the Center for American Liberty and seek help, so we can help them find a lawyer to go after the doctors that manipulated them and lied to them.
Well, in Australia, there is little transparency about how many children are being treated, what sort of treatments they're receiving in public hospitals and private ones too. What advice do you have for Australian health authorities who are, well, blindly following this gender-affirming model?
Don't listen to WPATH first and foremost. That is an organization of activists who are not basing their so-called standards of care on any credible science, really. The foundation that so much of this has been built on has been a foundation of lies, and it's coming crumbling down. It's great to see that information is coming out that shows that these studies that supposedly supported the notion that performing a double mastectomy on a 13-year-old girl is somehow good for her is all bogus. So Australian health authorities that are looking to WPATH and other organizations that say that they have evidence to support these procedures as beneficial, that's all false. They need to do their due diligence, and really at this point that means waiting to see what additional studies show with respect to the gender affirming care that has been performed on individuals. Is it going to be beneficial in the long term? What are the consequences of that going to be? And then only then make public policy decisions and medical decisions before making drastic procedural decisions on young kids. So that would be my recommendation for these Australian health authorities.
Now, the Centre for American Liberty is also representing an 82-year-old woman, Julie Jammers, who was banned for life from her local YMCA for expressing concerns that a man in a woman's swimsuit was using the woman's locker room. She says she was berated by staff, and since then, she says she's suffered mob-like attacks, public humiliation, and widespread mendacious reporting. If this had been the 17th century, I would have been burnt at the stake. I have been active in this community for 40 years, and my hope is that my credibility is restored. This seems incredible that a woman, an upstanding woman, can't speak up about something that makes her feel unsafe without copping this sort of treatment.
Yeah, it is truly horrible what happened here. And I think this just is another example of the blind loyalty that so many have to the pro-trans position. I mean, there's absolutely no common sense in these situations. Everyone is so afraid of being labeled a transphobe or a bigot that they would rather kick an 80-year-old woman out from the local pool that she's been using for decades simply because she objects to a biological male being in the women's locker room. There's absolutely no sense behind it. We have a First Amendment that protects free speech in the United States, and this was a violation of that constitutional right that Julie has. She has the right on government property. It was run by the YMCA, but this is government property, and she has the right to object to this policy. She was an advocate and counselor for survivors of domestic violence for most of her adult life, and she's been trained to look out for threats, and a biological male in a women's locker room is often a sign of a threat. So Julie spoke up, and she was banned for it, and that's unlawful. That's unconstitutional under American law.
Well, good on you for supporting her, because I would think the overwhelming majority of her community and just everyday Americans would back her and back her calling out something that made her feel uncomfortable. Eric Sell, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll speak to you again as these cases progress.
Thank you so much for having me.